Hello and welcome to Geek Speak with Envision IT, the podcast for business leaders and technology experts that like to stay on top of the latest security news and listen to interviews with insightful industry leaders. I'm Bill Crane, Chief Stakeholder Architect and CTO with Envision IT. Let's get started. Today we have some more Log4J news to give you an update on, and then also new is the Exchange email issue that came about past weekend with the latest year change that caused a problem with the Exchange server. So we thought we'd give you an update on those items and just make sure you're aware of them. So Log4j, unfortunately, it seems like every few days or every week we have more and more vulnerabilities coming out for that. So even though we took all the effort to fix the original ones, there's new ones coming out. And the good news there is that we have so many talented people now looking at issues or trying to find issues in Log4j. And they are finding them, and that's great news. The other good news on that front, none of these are as severe as the first one, of course. It doesn't get any worse than that first one that had a CVE score of 10. So all these new ones are less. They're still really important that you get them fixed, though. Just as we talked about last time, you want to get your list of all the software you use, check with every one of those vendors, and document these and keep track of them, and then find out what they have for updates. You should be seeing those soon. Either updates or maybe they have mitigations you can put in place until they come up with updates. Depending on how old the software is, it could take quite a while for these to come out. So keep an eye on those. We've had really good luck using tools. There's vulnerability scanners that we use on a daily basis for our customers that we're managing. Those have found items, and we've been able to remediate that way. If you go out to GitHub, there's a specific Log4j page out there, and there's a list of probably a dozen scanners you can check out as well and use those. We have tested some of those, and they work well. Microsoft themselves at least they were trying to use Microsoft Defender to scan for some of these Log4j vulnerabilities. They've had some issues with it, with false positives, which it's great they're producing that, but certainly has caused some grief for some people. So we'll see what happens on that front. In the meantime, as always, even if these Log4j vulnerabilities didn't exist, good EDR solution, having that in place will help protect you as well. And then also another item that we've had some hits on is some sort of threat intelligence. So, taking all your systems, your servers, workstations, everything you can, and logging that into a central repository, and having a tool that goes through there looking for threats is definitely a good thing to have. And the other thing we want to talk about today was just an Exchange issue is pretty interesting. Brings you back to the days of Y2K, where not a lot happened. But this last flip of the year that we had this past weekend, we did have some customers that called up and said, hey, my email isn't routing properly. Can you take a look? And certainly we did find some stuff. And right away there was limited information about it, and there was some workarounds too. But what it really is for on-premise Exchange servers, 2016 or 2019, there's actually it's a malware scanning issue where the date change actually caused the scanner to crash. So there is no actual malware, but it's causing the scanner to crash, and then all your emails pile up in the queue. And you might be thinking, well, I have Office 365, so this doesn't apply to me. Most of the issues we've seen our customers with Office 365, you may know that it's still very common to have an Exchange server on premise. Maybe you're using that for management, but a lot of people are using that as basically an email relay. So a lot of the systems that we see having the problems are maybe, these multifunction printers or scanners that are scanning, and then they're routing email through that on-prem Exchange server. So that's definitely where we're seeing it the most. What we had really good success doing for customers that we're managing is when that scanner crash happens, it creates a Windows event log of 5300. So we had good luck, searching all of our customer event logs, from our tools and finding where any of those exist, and then going and updating those servers. So you could look for that as well. And this does require the customer to take some sort of action. And you can get details on this if you just go and search for Microsoft Exchange, and then the numbers 3049447. That should bring up the article that has some really good information. So I hope that helps, and I hope everyone's off to a great 2022. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions or if you have future topics you'd like us to cover, please connect with us via the link in the show notes. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Geek Speak with Envision IT.